As Matt just mentioned, we have a breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center here in New York City. It happened just a few moments ago, apparently. We have very little information available at this point in time.
You will see what appears to be a large plane. It could be a 727 right there, maybe even bigger, flying right into the side of the World Trade Center.
It was at least a 727. It was a jet. I couldn't believe my eyes watching it right above me.
And now you have to move from talk about a possible accident to talk about something deliberate that has happened here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of the Steve Malzberg Show from our New York City studios on this 14th anniversary of the attack on the United States. We're going to be joined by Debra Burlingane and Andy McCarthy in just a moment. We have a very special lineup. And Dick Cheney weighs in on his 9/11 memories as well, so don't miss it. It's coming right up. But I want to play for you some things that the media will not play for you, because I want to reinforce exactly what happened to those people who were disintegrated at the World Trade Center, died at the Pentagon, and died in that field in Pennsylvania. And let's listen to a 911 call by Melissa Doy. She was trapped on the 83rd floor of the World Trade Center. Listen.
It's very hot. I don't see any air anymore.
Okay.
All I see is smoke.
Okay, dear. I'm so sorry. Hold on one. Stay calm with me. Stay calm. Now,
Please.
listen. The call is in. I'm documenting. I'm going to let those... Hold on one second, please.
I'm going to die, aren't I?
No.
I'm going to die.
Ma'am, say your prayers. And we're going to think positive, because you got to help each other get off the floor.
I'm
Now,
going to die.
stay calm.
God.
You're doing a good job, ma'am. You're doing a good job.
It's so hot. I'm burning up.
And that's the thing. These people either burnt up or they jumped. And I want you to watch this. If you don't want to see people jumping out of a window, turn away for 30 seconds. I want you to see this. That was the alternative to being burned alive and disintegrating. That's what our people went through. That's why we can't forget, ever. And that's why today must be respected and honored, and every day, every anniversary, and we should never forget these people. Vice President Dick Cheney allowed me to ask him about his thoughts on the 9/11 anniversary. Let's watch. 9/11 is a week or so away as we talk here. I want to show a picture. We have a picture of you, and that's a recently released picture from 9/11. I'd ask you what you're thinking there. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. What?
My recollection is that morning I spent in the POC, the Presidential Emergency Ops Center underneath the White House, and we had a series of decisions to make and so forth. But I believe that particular picture was taken as I watched the towers come down here in New York City.
And you were thinking what?
Well, I was thinking that we were under attack, that this was an act of war. This wasn't just a terrorist attack that you could treat as a law enforcement problem. We lost 3,000 people that day. At that moment, we didn't know exactly how extensive the attack was, but it was a very, very serious proposition for us, and I was starting to anticipate what we needed to do in order to protect ourselves from further attack and to get the guys who had struck on 9/11.
And I say, God bless you and the President and John Yoo, who is a frequent guest on this show, and everybody who did everything they could to keep us safe. And then the Monday morning quarterbacks come out not too far removed from that date and say, oh, we can't do this, it's not who we are, blah, blah, blah. And we're not as safe as we were then, are we?
Nope. I think we're in a position now where 9/11's far enough behind us that a lot of people have a tendency to forget what that time was like. And again, the thing I'm concerned about more than anything else is another mass casualty attack, but with armed terrorists armed with something tougher, more dangerous than box cutters and airline tickets.
And do you still, what do you feel, all these years later when 9/11 comes around to the anniversary, what do you still, how do you react to that?
Well, it's a reminder, I hope, for everybody out around the country of what happened that day and the measures that are necessary to prevent it from happening again. Unfortunately, we've seen sort of a reduction, a tendency to say, well, that was a one-off event. We don't really need to do those things we did to keep us safe, and I think that's a huge mistake.
All right, and that was Vice President Dick Cheney about a week ago. Joining us now is Andrew McCarthy, former federal prosecutor, author of Faithless Execution, building the political case for Obama's impeachment, also a National Review columnist, and Debra Burlingame, sister of Charles Burlingame III, Charles Chick Burlingame, the pilot of hijacked 9/11 American Airlines Flight 77, which crashed into the Pentagon, co-founder of 9/11 Families for a Safe and Strong America, and a board of directors member for the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. I welcome to both of you. I can't think of two people I'd rather talk to at this moment on the 14th anniversary of 9/11 because in your own ways you're both so involved. And Debra, let me start with you. You know, as always, thank you for all you do, and I always say this to you, and because I mean it, your brother I know is looking down on you and has from the beginning and is so proud. But let me ask you about what Dick Cheney said that, and I think this has been true for a while. We're far enough away from the actual event where people tend to forget what happened. As crazy as it seems, I believe it's true.
Well, I think you can, because I mean, there has been so many years that has gone by. There are so many things that have happened. But, you know, 21 million people have come to the 9/11 Memorial at Ground Zero since it opened 5 years ago. I think people haven't forgotten 9/11. They've tucked it away in a little place that's there. They remember. My concern is that you know, the 5-year-olds who were being taken to school that morning are now in college. They have no firsthand memory of 9/11. 9/11 to them is a static picture of a plane hitting a building,
right,
which looks like a movie for them. It looks like a graphic video game. And these are the people that we're leading the world to, and they are the ones that are going to be faced with the decisions that we're making today. So it's very, very important that we remember the history of that day, but also everything we've learned since then.
Absolutely.
We know a lot more than we did on that morning.
Now, that's very true. And Andy, and I guess that's what the Vice President was getting to. Everybody, you know, knows 9/11 or will say 9/11 and will recognize it, but we don't tend to understand, not we, but many don't tend to understand the threat that it still poses to us 14 years later.
Yeah, I think that's right, Steve. First, let me just say that especially in view of the solemnity and importance of the occasion, it's an honor to be on with Debra and with you, and to remember the hard work we've done on this issue over the years. And what I'm fearful of is exactly what Vice President Cheney said. I think there's an element of human nature that says that if you take precautions that are appropriate precautions to make sure a catastrophic, atrocious event doesn't happen again, and then it doesn't happen again, you begin to wonder, because you don't really want to feel threatened, whether the threat was so bad in the first place. And you begin to forget that the reason that you've been safe is because of the measures that you've taken to protect yourself and protect the country. And I think it was very important, and he observed this, that, and you know, look, I was in this from 1993 going forward, like 8 years before 9/11, when we used the criminal justice system as the point of the spear, as it were, in counterterrorism. And we saw what a disaster that was for 8 years leading up to 9/11. It was desperately necessary for us to make a change from a courtroom approach to counterterrorism to a national security approach where we saw it as primarily a military problem, because we're dealing with terrorists who actually operate out of places that our criminal justice system can't even get to.
Now we've gone back the other way, I guess,
Yep.
And that's
exactly right.
That's the threat and the problem. Okay, we're going to come back. We have another segment with Debra Burlingame and Andy McCarthy right here on this very special 9/11 Steve Malzberg show on Newsmax television. Don't go away.